Hey guys, Andrew Marsh here with DrewFit.com. I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. Now before I begin today's video, I want to give a huge thank you to everybody that's liking and sharing my videos and leaving me feedback. You guys are awesome, and if you can continue to do so, I would greatly appreciate it. So today's video, I'm going to be giving you my opinion on the future of health and give you kind of an overview of how I currently see our health epidemic in the United States and how I think we should move forward in the future to be better, whether it's allopathic doctors, functional medicine doctors, a health coach, or even if you're a patient on the other side, some of the things you should be looking for from your healthcare professional. So before I begin, I have no bias towards whether an allopathic is better than a functional medicine or vice versa. I think there are certain things that are great from both, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not really going to get into the analytics of it all. But so number one, I talk about no more supplements, medications, and diet cures. I think today patients are becoming so reliant on finding that one cure that will take away whatever issue they have, whether it be a natural supplement from your holistic doctor or medications from your allopathic doctor, or if it's a food guru that's recommending like a diet cure, like a keto is going to fix all your issues. I think as a patient and somebody trying to get healthy, I think that we can't become reliant on these things. And if you're ever working with somebody, I think that their main goal, and this is something I preach to everybody I work with, is I don't want you to be taking a supplement or medication or relying on a diet to be the end-all be-all. I think that getting off of supplements or medications should be your main goal. So I make it very clear whenever I work with somebody, I don't want you to use this as a crutch for the rest of your life. I want to use it to maybe get you better in the beginning process, but overall I want you to take yourself off of these things so you can get back to living a natural lifestyle, not becoming reliant. And I think today we are so reliant on these things, it's become quite a sickness. So that's one thing to think about whenever you're working with somebody as a patient. Ask what their goal is with you. Is it to just keep you on these things for life, or are they going to eventually wane you off of these things? So something to think about when working with, whether it be, like I said, your allopathic, functional, or health coach. Number two, now this is a major one, and I'm a huge advocate of talking about the environment that people are living in. And I think that the future of healthcare, if you're really wanting to get answers for yourself, or if you're a health coach or functional medicine practitioner, you got to start asking questions about their environment. And when I'm talking about in their environment, I'm talking about when they wake up, are they being surrounded by things like blue light from the moment they wake up to the time they go to bed? Are they living near cell phone towers? Do they sleep with a Wi-Fi router next to their bed? Just so many components add up to this, and I think it's a major component that's missing whenever you're working with a healthcare professionals. They don't really take time to ask you about your lifestyle to that degree, and that is a major component, because if you do your research on things like blue light and non-native EMFs, you will find that these things are very harmful to our health. And a big thing, and I'm going to get into this a little bit later, but these things don't show up on lab tests that these people are running, but I'll touch on that in a second. Number three, I think that the future superhero healthcare practitioner is really going to teach you to get back into Mother Nature and do it properly. And what I mean by that is really getting back into Mother Nature means to really get into the sun, take your shoes off and ground yourself to earth, and really use the sun as a supplement instead of being scared of it and having whatever your doctor telling you that, hey, you need to load up with sunscreen before you get out in the sun or else you're going to get cancer or melanoma. Because I truly believe through my research that the sun is, I think, the single greatest supplement that we can use today, and it shouldn't even be called a supplement, it should just be a way of life. So that is going to be a huge one, and like I said, you're going to have to use it properly, because I know that there are things like using the sun incorrectly could actually have negative effects on your health. And what I mean by that is the sun comes in so many different wavelengths and frequencies that if you're just getting out there when the sun is beaming at its hottest point, but you're never out there in the morning or in the late evening when the sun rises and sun sets, this really does play a component on your health, and it could be negative. So that's when people don't recommend getting out in the sun, is when you're not using it properly. So the future superhero practitioner is going to teach you to use Mother Nature properly. Number 4, and this is just in general, whether you're a practitioner or whether you're a patient, you just need to ask better questions. Because I think all too often we rely on lab tests to give us the answers that we want, and sometimes they don't give us the answers we need. So what you do essentially is just ask yourself a better question if you're not getting the answer you want, and it's just that simple. If your doctor's telling you, oh, you got this, but it's not showing up on lab tests, don't just sit there and blindly accept what they're telling you. Just ask better questions, whether it be to your doctor or online, or to, if you're getting a second opinion from somebody, just ask better questions. It's really that simple, and you'll find the answers that you're looking for, I promise you. So number 5, this leads right into what I was just talking about, but lab tests. I think lab tests are slowly becoming a thing of the past, and there's a lot of people I know, some peers that I know that have actually had lab tests done, and me personally, I've had a couple lab tests done from functional practitioners, and they aren't able to find anything. And like I said, in your environment, there are things like non-native EMFs, whether it be blue light toxicity or the frequencies coming off of these new cell phone towers they're putting in, they can't find the damaging effects on a lab test. So that's almost rendering lab tests useless today, unless you really do have something going on, like if you have stomach issues and you run a food panel and they find, oh, you're very allergic to peanuts or whatever food it may be. So lab tests are slowly falling by the wayside, in my opinion, and as far as I know, I don't think there's any lab tests that can be ran today that will measure the damaging effects of non-native EMFs. So, like I said, lab tests may be a thing of the past. So don't just think that, oh, I'm not getting an answer because it didn't show up on the lab test. There are other things that aren't showing up here. And like I said, me personally, I had digestive issues a few years back, and I went to a functional practitioner, and they did a blood analysis. They did a stool sample test, and it came back that I was only allergic to like one thing, which they thought was pretty crazy, how I was having a few digestive issues. My blood analysis came back perfectly fine. They're like, oh, you seem to be pretty healthy and everything. It might just be stress at work, and yeah, that may have been a component, but what I think it was my toxicity, whether it be to blue light or some frequencies that I was dealing with, whether it be my Bluetooth headset I had in my ear all day long, or the fact that I was working on the 10th floor, working in front of a computer. So many components add up, and they're being found on lab tests. So that's another thing to think about if you aren't getting the answers that you're trying to find. Now number 6, this is something I personally just got into within the past year, and that is biohacking and mitohacking. And in short, it's basically hacking things in your lifestyle to really boost your health. And some of these things are simple as changing the water that you drink to like distilled water or some kind of structured water. If you're living on a like 10th floor in an apartment complex, there's things you can do to mitigate the damages. If you get like a Magnetico pad, or I don't know, you unplug your Wi-Fi router. Those are considered like biohacks. And mitohack is short for mitochondria, and this is something I recently came across, and I thought it was really awesome. It's just hacking your environment to really have healthy mitochondria, because we know the importance of mitochondria. If your mitochondria isn't healthy in these cells, you are not going to be healthy, and it's that simple. So that is one thing to really take into account, is really nourish your mitochondria. But like I said, I think a future superhero practitioner of the future is going to really be an advocate on biohacking and mitohacking your environment, because there's so many things that play into damaging your health. Like I said, if you live on the 10th floor of an apartment complex, you're very far away from being grounded to earth, and you're more susceptible to things like non-native EMF damages. Whether you live in a city that's densely populated, there's things that you can biohack around you so you can be healthy. But biohacking and mitohacking is really personable, because it really matters on what your lifestyle looks like. Are you somebody that works inside all days, living under blue light? Like for instance, you would have to be wearing blue light blocking glasses. That would be a biohack. So a little bit on biohack and mitohack. I kind of went into it a little in depth, but that's something that your practitioner might go into in the future, and that's something that I would highly advocate if I was working with somebody as well. Now, number 7, this seems pretty basic, but I don't think a lot of practitioners focus on this, and it is to eliminate toxicity. Now, the type of toxicity I'm talking about isn't going to be coming from the diet, like you're eating bad carbohydrates. That's just a small component of it. But eliminating toxic, whether it be people or a toxic job, a toxic relationship, whatever it is, friendships, it can all be toxic and have a major effect on your mental and physical health. And really cleaning up your environment that way is really going to show profound effects, because if you deal with somebody in a relationship that's just constantly draining you of your energy and you're constantly angered or stressed, this isn't good for your health. And like I said, practitioners really aren't talking to their clients about this as much and as frequently as they should. So another thing to think about. But overall, these 7 things that I've talked about are really things that you should take into account when working with a practitioner in the future. And this is something I hope that a lot of practitioners do take into account in the future, just so we can live a healthier lifestyle. So I hope this helps you out, guys. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please drop them below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And hey, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.